Getting ready to rain here. Over here. Over here. Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I always think it's Monday because we're recording a Monday show, but it's Wednesday in real time. And we're sitting here with listener Karyn. She's up in Canada, and we're going to talk about her trip to Walt Disney World for Monday's podcast on a Wednesday. Confusing. Keep your notes straight. All right, so we shall get started. Here we go. Got everything there. All right, phone's muted. Except for my dad, because he's in my contacts. My dad will call every Wednesday night. He calls during the show, even though I tell him I've been doing this since 2008. Wednesday nights to do my podcast. They'll call. So
of
if I'm reaching for my phone, my watch to mute the call, because even when I'm on Do Not Disturb, since he's like one of my favorite people in my phone, he
comes through.
He gets through. I'm like, I'm about to take you out of my contacts. That's what I told him last week. I said, I've been doing this show forever, right? Like, he's probably listening right now. I'm like, if you do it again, I'm taking you out of my contacts. I said, stop. I forgot. How do you forget? I've been doing it since 2008. Your granddaughter was 2 months old when the show started. She is a sophomore in high school. Anyway, he'll call, I'm sure. All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 2368 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Again, hope you had a great weekend, got to spend some time with friends and family. Here in the Midwest, fall finally got here. Now that October's here, a little crispness to the air. It got a little chilly, a little bit of rain, and it definitely feels like fall. We're excited for that. And we're going to head up north today with one of our great listeners and talk about her trip down to Walt Disney World and have a great time. There's nothing better than taking a virtual vacation to Walt Disney World or to a Disney destination to kick off yet another week as you're headed into school or work or walking the dog or doing the dishes. That's kind of our goal here, just a virtual escape here for just a little bit of fun. So joining us from up near Niagara Falls, but on the Canada side of the border, Karyn. Thanks for joining us, Karyn. How you doing today?
I'm great, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you. And hopefully you're having a nice fall up there in Canada. How are things going?
Things are going pretty good. It's kind of warm this week up here, which we're not complaining about too much, but hopefully colder weather's on the way.
I'm sure we'll get it and we'll be complaining about it soon enough because
like
we never got it. Now it's here. So hallelujah for a little while, but had to put the doors back on the Jeep. So that's kind of the churning of the seasons for me. You can't ride around without the doors on the Jeep anymore. So it's that time of the year. But let me ask you about this, your Disney fandom. You're listening to a Disney podcast. You're traveling with your family of 5 down to Walt Disney World, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. But where does it all start for you? How did you become a big Disney fan?
So for me, it starts with the movies. I grew up watching all the classics, Mulan, Little Mermaid, all of that. We never got the chance as kids to go to Disney World or Disneyland or anything like that. So when I had kids of my own and they got a little bit older, I was like, well, this is something I want to do for them. We had a trip booked kind of pre-COVID and didn't get to go for various reasons with our youngest coming into our lives. So this is kind of our redo trip for them, but also our first trip for all of us to go down and see what Walt Disney World has.
I love that. Let me ask you this too, because I'm always curious about how our listeners do this, because every person does this differently. How do you keep Disney as a Disney fan kind of alive in your household and your everyday? Because we rarely get to go on vacation, but we're Disney fans for most of us 365 days a year. So what kind of things do you do with your kids and around the house and just to kind of keep that spark alive?
Well, we're always watching Disney Plus. I mean, that makes it so much easier now. It's always on our TV between Disney Junior shows or Star Wars or Marvel. There's something Disney related going on in our house at least a couple times a week. So that kind of keeps us going back.
And we just got that announcement. Today is the day we're recording, because we record this a few days early so we can get it edited and uploaded. But we're going to get a season 2 of that Behind the Attractions series, which
Yeah.
is for parks fans. That's pretty exciting stuff on Disney Plus. I mean, I
Yeah,
know
it's
all of us.
super exciting.
Yeah, we are. I mean, that's like our demo right there. Everybody's like, like
Yeah,
Dr. Kai is one of our biggest supporters. He was probably like, oh yes.
we
Yeah.
definitely watched the season 1 before we went on our trip just to see kind of what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I was excited because, I think they're going to do Big Thunder, Pirates, and I saw nighttime spectaculars at Epcot. Illuminations, they could have just said. I don't care about Harmonious, but that'd be cool to see too. But I saw also that they mentioned one of your favorite attractions of all times, food.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. They understand us. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, could they have named my all-star team of Disney attractions? And you know what? I canceled Disney Plus because I watch football all football season. It's like they're calling Mike Rallman trying to get me to resubscribe here November 1st. Like they're
They definitely have your number.
I know, because I had the bundle and all that stuff. And I'm like, I can save a few, I'm trying to be cheap,
Yep.
right? I'm like, I
Yep.
can save it for a little bit. I got enough football to watch. And now I'm like, dude, come on now. Why you got to throw in that nighttime spectaculars at Epcot? You're totally just jerking the chain here. You're trying to get me in. So we'll see. We'll see how long I can hold. I know it won't go away. Like, it'll be there in February, but come on. We'll see. Anyway, so let's talk about your trip. So when did you tell us about your family? When did you go down? And tell us about the planning, how it came together.
Yeah, so we are a family of 5. So me and my husband took our 3 kids. So we have 2 preteens, one's 13 and one's 11. And then we have a just started kindergarten kid. So she was 3 at the time of our trip. So we went in August of this year. Super crazy heat wave the week before the hurricane hit. So we kind of had perfect timing. Like I mentioned, we kind of had a trip booked pre-COVID and had to cancel it on our older 2, but so they were a little bummed about that. So this is our makeup trip. So we just kind of we didn't splurge all the way, but we definitely splurged on a few things to kind of make that up to them.
That's gonna be fun to talk about. Now, let me ask you about the planning, because you got 2 kind of preteens. You got a little, younger one there too.
Yeah.
How do you guys plan? Like, your husband, is he into it? Is he just like hands off totally? It's your thing. Do you get input from the 2 preteens? Like, what's it like in your house putting the trip together?
Yeah. So when we finally decided, okay, let's go, let's pick dates, we kind of paid our deposit, did our thing, and then it was, okay, everyone pick 2 to 3 things that are like your must-haves for the trip. So it was my preteens were, I want to ride Rise of the Resistance and the Millennium Falcon ride. Our middle daughter wanted to ride Everest and eat specific foods. My husband had a few things, and then there was my little few things. I want to meet Stitch. I want to do these little things. So that's kind of how the trip started to build. We took those pieces and they became the building blocks for the trip, and then everything else was bonus beyond that.
That's a great idea. So everybody has their things that, okay, these are the things I want to make sure that we get done, right?
Yeah.
These are kind of we have to do this, and then
Yeah.
everything else we're going to kind of build. I love that philosophy. Okay, so you're down there in August. How's travel from Canada down to Florida for you guys? Did you run into any frustrations, any tips? Because a family of 5, you got 3 kids. Any tips for folks that maybe have not tackled this yet? I mean, that they might think about?
I mean, we're all kind of new travelers, so for us, it was a whole new experience. Like, I'd only ever really been on a plane 2 times before this trip on my own. So it was a lot of just kind of logistics, getting everyone to the airport, everything packed and ready to go. Really just give yourself time and kind of just breathe. You're gonna get there. We flew down, so for us, it was a 2.5-hour flight, so it wasn't too bad.
That's what it is. Exactly, from St. Louis to 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. And again, I'm kind of new to flying too. Like, I was scared to fly forever. Not fly. I've flown a bunch of times since, I guess I started flying about 7 years ago. I love it now. Actually, it's really a fun part of the trip for me. No kidding. I get a huge kick out of it. And but did your kids think it was? I mean, I bet your kids probably thought it was fun. I mean,
My older 2 were kinda indifferent about it. They were just kinda like, "Yeah, it's getting us from home to Disney." Our youngest was over the moon, though. Like, she thought it was the best thing ever.
cool. That's cool. See, I'm like, can I get some wings or something? I get
Yeah.
excited. Like, I love flying anyway. It's because it's a big
Yeah.
deal. So you guys pick Caribbean Beach, obviously, because there's not as many options for families of 5. You could go there. You can go Riverside. Of course, you can get 2 rooms at any resort. But was there a certain reason besides like the 5th sleeper option that you guys went with Caribbean Beach?
Kind of the big 2 things were the pool, because I knew my kids would want to live there for the whole week we were there. And then also the Skyliner, just because I knew Hollywood Studios was a big park for us that we wanted to do and we wanted to do well. So I knew the Skyliner was going to be crucial for that.
That is smart. You're already on it. You're thinking like a travel agent. Like when I hear people, oh man, we got to spend time at the studios. I'm like, you need to be at Pop, Art, Caribbean Beach, maybe the Riviera if you want to be fancy. Probably don't need to be fancy, but you can. So you're exactly where you need to be now. Because you gave me some notes and you start with day 1, but your travel day and you guys arrived. Did you get there? Like how'd you like? What was your arrival day like? You didn't go to the parks on your arrival day, did you?
No, we didn't. So we had a later flight. Like we didn't leave here. Like we didn't take off from Toronto until about 2:30. So we didn't land until about, it was probably 5:30 by the time we got off the plane in Orlando. And then we grabbed some food at the airport, just kind of, basic travel day stuff. And then we took the Mears shuttle from the airport to our hotel. So we just kind of took an easy day, explored the resort a little bit, walked around, got our refillable mugs, and then went back and just chilled because everyone was just done from the travel day.
And that's the way to do it. That is perfect because you don't want to push it that first day because you're exhausted. You go into the park and it's just, I mean, the park is a ton of fun. But if you go in late in the day, you're behind the 8 ball already. And, everybody take advantage, you jump in the pool, revive yourself. Like I said, go get those mugs, get some sodas, get a fun dessert at the end of the night. Just you're excited because you're there. You see the energy and then you're anticipating. I think it makes the next day so much better because you're building the anticipation for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Too. So, all right. So the next day, it looks like you give me some notes and we could talk. You just kind of walk me through it. But first ones in line for the Skyliner, you guys were ready to rock. You want to go?
Oh, we were.
You were first time riding it. So, did it? I guess you had expectations for the Skyliner, but I mean, did it meet them throughout the trip?
Absolutely. It was our preferred way to get to the parks. Like if we could take the Skyliner somewhere and minimize bus transportation, that's what we did. It was amazing. Like going like 10 minutes from our hotel to Hollywood Studios was amazing. Like I don't know, I don't know if I could do just a bus transportation hotel going forward.
Yeah, the first time, because I was there the day the Skyliner opened. I went down specifically that weekend, and I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
Because I was geeking out over it when they announced it. I'm like, I'm going down when that thing opens because it's gonna be the coolest thing ever in the history of the world.
Yeah.
And so I went down for that weekend. And I remember the first time I rode it from Pop Century to the studios, I'm like, oh my, I cannot believe how fast I am at the studios. Because I had to make the switch at Caribbean Beach, because I was coming from Pop, and you guys were at Caribbean Beach, so you could cut out that exchange
exactly.
there. You guys have your direct shot. Boom.
Yeah.
Both
it was so great.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you go there first in line, rope drop in the park, doing everything right to kick things off. You don't see these words in an email very often, but you sent them in this email, which you dropped me a few notes to kind of guide the conversation. It says, "Rise of the Resistance, walk on."
Yeah.
Didn't know this happened, but it does. So, I mean, this is the way to do it, I guess, if you can. So I guess that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, so I know most people start their trips at Magic Kingdom, but our day 1 happened to be our oldest's birthday. So I gave him the option of what is the one thing that you hands down want to do more than anything else. And it was ride Smuggler's Run. So we knew we had to do Hollywood Studios on his actual birthday. So I was like, well, if we're going to ride those, we might as well rope drop. So rope drop, followed the crowd, walked through, ended up walking basically through the queue and right onto Rise of the Resistance, which was pretty incredible. So like there were people that rode it before us, so we weren't the first people there, but we didn't even wait in a queue.
God, that's awesome. So and I bet that was an awesome birthday for your son too. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
Rise of Resistance, kick off your birthday. I mean, there you're walking under the Millennium Falcon. I mean, come on now. Like if I could have dreamed that as a kid for a birthday, like come on now. No way. Like I got a little Hasbro Millennium Falcon one year.
Yeah, it was pretty great. and we got off that and then walked directly right on to Smuggler's Run. Our toddler, if you ask her what her least favorite ride of the trip was, it was Smuggler's Run because she was terrified of it. But
Oh,
because she had to push the buttons, she
oh,
says it's
no.
the button ride. So, but everyone else enjoyed it. So,
So I'm guessing the two preteens were the pilots.
yes, they were.
Yeah. See, look at see, I can figure things out. I'm no dummy there. So the little one was probably an gunner.
Yes.
Okay, see, look, and then the parents are the engineers. I got you right,
Yeah.
probably. Or, yeah, okay. See, I know how families work. That's exactly how it should work with that kind of a dynamic. See, I'm no dummy. Okay, so walk us through kind of the because we're not going to get into all the details of this
No,
day.
of
But
course.
highlights from the rest of this day.
So after we did that, obviously we had to Toy Story Land, did all kind of the headliners there. And then as we were kind of just walking around, we walked past Doc McStuffins and Fancy Nancy and Vampirina, which is our toddler's like favorite characters ever. So we had to wait in line for all three of them, which
I didn't
in
even know. I
August
didn't
heat.
even know. I didn't even know Doc McStuffins was still a thing. Like that was a thing
Yeah.
when Mallory was little, and she's a sophomore in high school. Like she used to love Doc McStuffins. I'm glad
Yeah,
to
they
know
still
she's still
have new episodes coming out too. So
Oh, that's so good to know because she used to love Doc McStuffins. Oh my gosh, that's great.
yeah, so we waited for all 3, which was a long, grueling process because in August heat, they go and take breaks about every
Uh,
15 to 20 minutes, which makes sense given how hot it is, but convincing a 3-year-old to do something else other than
oh,
meet the character is not happening. So
yeah,
we just waited.
yeah, it's the lesser of two evils. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And this is kind of our day that we figured out. I mean, day one, great day to figure it out. That eating inside in an air conditioned, even if it's a quick service, is game changer.
Yes, yes. No truer words. Get in the
Yeah.
air conditioning at all
Yes,
costs, whatever it takes.
exactly.
Yeah, in August
Exactly.
in Florida.
Take a break, cool everyone down, get some food, and everyone's in better spirits kind of after that.
Well, it looks like you had an ice cream break in there too, so kudos to that too. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
we
perfect.
needed something.
I mean, yeah, you're on vacation. That's why you're there. I mean, that's why I go on
Yeah,
cruises. They have ice cream machines. You just and that's
yeah.
it. So you guys ABC commissary. So pretty
Yeah.
good. You guys like it, I hope. That's
Yeah,
kinda
it was pretty good. We had realized on our arrival night because we grabbed kind of some food when we got to the resort too, because we just grabbed something little at the airport. We realized the portions were significantly larger than we were used to at home. So we just started sharing meals. So we ended up with like quite a few different things at ABC Commissary. I think there was some tacos and various other things that day for lunch.
hope somebody got my buffalo
We
chicken grilled cheese.
didn't.
Oh no.
I would have been the only one eating it, so it just didn't make a lot of sense because 'cause they're
That's
all not huge spicy fans, so
that's okay. I'll let it pass this time. But yeah, no, that's totally I'm just kidding with you. I would love to have one right now. And I
yeah.
just come back from dinner. Okay, so you guys did that. Looks like you hit a couple more rides. You got to see the You said you enjoyed the Lightning McQueen show. We never talked about
I didn't go on the Lightning McQueen show,
that.
so we split up here. Me and our middle daughter went on Tower of Terror because that was one of her
Ah,
top things that she wanted to do, and the other 3 were not doing that ride, so they went and did Lightning McQueen. They had nothing but good things to
that's
say about
cute.
it.
Yeah,
They our youngest freaked out about the car and everything, so
it's
it
cute.
was it was a thing for her to do, so because when mom left, it was a thing for her to go do, so it worked out great.
That's awesome. So you guys took a resort break. I love that. Got to do that in the summer. I
Yeah,
mean, that's why you're on the Skyliner. Bam, you're back in 10 minutes.
yeah.
Um, but you guys that evening came back and played a little bit in the park. But you did sci-fi with the Phantasmic dining package. A lot of people ask about that. So how does that work out? Like, how did your dinner go, and how does that whole package deal work for people that are considering this?
Yeah, so I know you're gonna hate this, but we got it the day of. We went back for our resort
Yeah.
break and we were like, you know what, let's do a sit down dinner tonight for his birthday. And I was just scrolling through and I was like, hey, sci-fi's up. And the Phantasmic package was there. So I was like, well, let's just do that because we want to stay for fireworks anyway. So you go to your reservation just like you would if you booked a regular ADR for it, and you go with the Phantasmic package. I think we all got an entree and a drink and a choice between an appetizer or a dessert.
Mhm.
So we did that kind of between me and my husband and myself and our older two. We kind of, one of us did an app, one of us did a dessert so that we could kind of try a little bit of everything. And had great dinner. We did a few more rides after that. We did Smuggler's Run again with a lightning lane because it was still up. So we went and did that with rider swap because our youngest was not going on that again. And then me and our oldest did it, and we got the Chewy mode because the 3 other people we were with knew how to do it. So that was a pretty cool moment for him.
That's cool. So, man,
Yeah.
what a full day. I mean, and
Yeah.
you guys you wrapped it up with Fantasmic. You enjoy the show?
We did. It was our favorite nighttime show of the whole trip.
It's my wife's favorite too, and I'm
Yeah.
partial to the music. I like the music a lot
It's
too.
so good.
That and Illumination.
And I
I
tried to not watch videos before we went, so I didn't have any expectations of what it should be, so we just went in with kind of what it was gonna be the day we watched it, so.
and that's how to do it. And that's so hard with my job because like I'm in it, like this is what I do all day. But I do, as long as you stay off social media, you're pretty safe. Like when I help people book trips, it's not like I have to go watch videos of attractions. Like that's not what I do. Help people book
Yeah.
hotel rooms and stuff. But dang, it's always like I'm getting all these questions all the time, like about stuff. And like when something new's happening, there's a modification. I mean, I'm a Disney fan first. Like I kind of want to know, but I also want to get down there and have
And
the
experience it.
excitement. Yeah, the new
Yeah.
experience. I don't want to see it on YouTube. Like that's
Exactly.
spoiled. So anyway.
Yeah.
So man, happy birthday to your son. What a great day.
Yeah, it was
And
such a
yeah,
good day.
sci-fi will not let me in. But we actually Friday we had a podcast about that, like places where you can roll in and you can get really anywhere last minute if you just get lucky and look at the app and some things pop
Yeah.
up and
I
sometimes
actually told my husband, I'm like, "When I do this trip report, he's gonna
oh
be mad that we got this."
I so want to go in there. I love the atmosphere because I've never in my life been to a real drive-in. Like
Oh, really?
we had one in our town, but my parents just never took us. Like we
Oh,
never
we
went to the
have one,
movie.
like, 10 minutes from our house,
Yeah, I've
so
never in my life been to a drive. I've been to sci-fi a few times, right back in the day when you could actually get in. Like I used to love that place. We used to go all the time.
yeah.
But like the last 5 years can't get in. And I just love, the whole atmosphere thing. So
Yeah.
anyway, someday
Super fun.
they see me coming, they're like, pull down the gates. My Rollman's coming down commissary lane. Don't let him in.
Yeah.
Anyway, so day 2, you go to Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
And first one's on the bike. I like you guys. You guys are early risers, just like me.
We are.
If you're 5 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late, kind of thing. Okay, so give us some highlights of this day. You guys had a whole lot happening here.
We did. So one of the top things we wanted to do at Magic Kingdom was 7 Dwarfs. But I didn't want to pay for an individual lightning lane for that because we knew we were going to be doing Genie Plus the rest of the trip, so it just didn't make sense to do it. But we rope dropped. We got a little confused of where we needed to go and we ended up having to just kind of wait in the queue a little bit, but it was kind of just walking in a big crowd of people through the queue. So maybe 10-minute wait, if anything. So that was a huge highlight for that day. Our youngest came on it, so it was just me and the 3 kids because my husband doesn't do roller coasters. So that was a lot of fun. Did a lot of the rides over in that area. We met Mickey Mouse over in the theater because we got a good lightning lane time for it.
Nice.
Me and our middle daughter rode Tron together, so that was super fun.
What'd you think? I mean, you guys enjoyed
It
Tron?
was incredible. It was really good. Yeah.
Now, you also mentioned you did Sword in the Stone. Just get a picture there, or did you actually?
Yeah. No, we
No,
just got a picture. None of us were lucky enough to pull it
I
out.
was gonna say, like, did you have a moment? I mean, like, when it says Sword in the Stone, I'm like, oh my god.
No, we did it. We tried to do it both days, so no
You
luck.
never know. It's like, I mean, you guys got into sci-fi, so I'm just saying, like, if you had to pull the sword out, I wouldn't have surprised me. That would be that's I'm more apt to pull the sword out of the stone than to get in that restaurant. Okay, so you did that.
Yeah.
So you guys are meeting a lot of characters, but it makes sense with your youngest child there. I mean,
Yeah.
Skull, a ton of characters.
She was super excited for all the characters. She actually was better with the characters that were in the costumes more so than like the face characters for the princesses. We weren't really sure it could go either way for her. So we were super happy that she was pumped to meet Mickey and Minnie and Daisy and all of them. But her favorite princess is Belle. So of course we had to go do Fairy Tale Hall with Belle. Oh, not Fairy Tale Hall, sorry. The
Enchanted
Belle,
Tales.
that one, the
I
Enchanted
love
Tales.
that. We never talk about
So
that, and that is I'm glad it was so late to come back. I mean, it's just recently back, but that is one of the best things in the Magic Kingdom, and
we
it's
had no idea what it was. So
oh,
we thought it was just a Belle meet and greet, just go in, take a picture and leave, but it was the best surprise it ever could be. Our youngest got to be Chip and our oldest got to be her Belle's dad. So or
I mean, every dad, I mean, like, I'm always like a, uh, knight, or whatever, the soldier, like
yeah,
your suit of armor or whatever. Like, I have
yeah,
100 pictures of me on my camera roll when we used to take because we used to go every time, Mallory, when she was little, and
yeah.
every picture, it's like me in a various, like, pair of, like, Old Navy shorts and, like, some random T-shirt and, like, holding up the knight head in front of me, the piece of cardboard.
Yeah, we have some great pictures because we got the memory maker too. So we got some great pictures of the girls from that too. So
That is such a I seriously, everybody, when you go to the Magic Kingdom, don't sleep on it, Enchanted Tales.
no,
It's right there, like, and you just walk past it probably 5 times, and you probably don't even see it. Like, it's one of those things, man, that is the definition of hidden in plain sight
yeah,
because you
and
don't
it
know.
was so great. It was such a good surprise. Like we thought it was just a meet and greet, which would have been fantastic, but it just like exceeded everything we thought it would be.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that because that's exactly how I feel about that attraction. I'm glad we can give it some love. Okay, so you hit face painting. It says for Gwen. Now, how'd that work out, and did it stay on longer than 5 minutes and all
No, it did
that?
not.
Yeah,
um,
no, I've been there.
we there's some points in time where we have to separate from my husband and our youngest just to do some of the bigger rides, so like Tron and Space Mountain. She just can't ride them, she just wasn't tall enough. So to kind of convince her that it was okay and to make a concession, she wanted to get her face painted as a unicorn, so we said sure, we'll pay the $40 that it is to get it painted. And I was smart and took a picture of her immediately after she jumped down from the chair, so we have good pictures of it, but it didn't last more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, I remember because the one time Mallory did the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, and we had to lay down the law before she went in. She was like 6, so it's really like, is she gonna follow these rules? No. But we told her, like, you're not swimming tonight. Like, and like we're at Walt Disney World, right? What do we do
Yeah,
every night when there's 6? We go
swim.
back to Pop Century, and I mean, she liked the pool more than she liked any of the theme parks, anything else. Like, she just wanted to swim. And I'm like, look, try to explain it to a 6-year-old, like how, this is $200, like, to get your hair done, and like we're getting you, we bought you a dress back. We brought a dress from home. We bought it like at the Disney store, online and all that. But in total, like, it was really expensive for us, big
Yeah,
conversation. So we're like, look, tonight you are not swimming because we are going to go to a dinner. Like, I think we went to Norway that night and got the picture with like all 5 princesses. We went around the Magic Kingdom just like you. Like, we went to like every character we could find that night. We got fast pass because back in the fast pass days, like fast passes for all the characters. I mean, we had so many pictures, but it's like, I just want to go swim it. No, and I think the next morning we went to another park and like, because like she slept with her hair still like hard as a rock and like, all
yeah,
the gunk in it. She was finally like that next like day after lunch, we're like, okay, you can go swimming now. And it kind of broke my heart. It's like, okay, she jumped into the pool, the hair kind of melted. I'm like, oh, there went the money. I'm like,
yep,
well, that was
exactly.
it. That's the end of that experience. Anyway, so you guys kind of wrapped up, and it looks like you guys had dinner over at Trails End.
We did. The original plan was to do the campfire with Chip and Dale, but that apparently was only on certain days. But
Oh,
it was a whole miscommunication. But we still had dinner over there. It was great. We tried kind of one of the new family meals, split that between all of us, played some arcade games over at the Wilderness Lodge, the little main building there. And then we just went back to our resort and took it easy that night.
that's the way to go, though. I love
Yeah,
it. And everybody, too, I think, should try to hop over to Fort Wilderness and this kind of. Did you take the boat over?
we did. Yeah. That was kind of why we did it that night.
Yeah. It's fun to take the boat, and now they've opened the boat up from the Contemporary over to Fort Wilderness
Yeah.
just in the past week and a half, and that's just an experience too. It just makes
Yeah.
things. It's the kids will talk about stuff like that. Like we took
Yeah.
a boat, like
Exactly.
I wouldn't like why you went to Florida, but it is for the kids. They get a kick out of that. All right, day 3, Epcot. You make it to
Day
Epcot.
3,
Give us some holiday
Epcot.
fare.
this was my trip, my park choice. I kind of wanted to do this, but we rope dropped Remy's. Basically, walked to the queue, walked onto that. So that was super fun. It was probably one of our favorite rides of the whole trip, kind of unanimously across the board for all of us. Met Anna and Elsa, and like always, food is going to be the highlight at Epcot. So a baguette from France to start the day to kind of fuel us for the rest of the day.
Yes.
We did Soarin', and then we had lunch at the Sunshine Seasons. So just some like different flavors and stuff. I was shocked at the amount of variety of food at Walt Disney World. I was worried it was going to be chicken fingers and fries all week, but it was so good.
It's gotten a lot better. And
Yeah.
here's the thing too, I forget about Sunshine Seasons now because of the new Connections Cafe over, in the news
Yep.
section there of, I still call it Future World, World Discovery or whatever it's
Yeah.
called now. But yeah, it's Sunshine Seasons was always my go-to. And I've kind of switched over to Connections Cafe. But Sunshine, so it sounds like it had some good options still down there.
Yeah, it was. I think there was some chicken options, just some like veggies, and it was a really good lunch for us.
But later on, they have fish and chips in England. So
Yes,
that
of course.
winter chicken dinner there, fish dinner.
Yes,
That's,
it
oh
was
man,
so
I
good.
love that. That's
It was so good.
good.
We did the Beauty and the Beast sing along, obviously, with Belle being a favorite there, and then we went and did the Imagine Figment ride, which was super fun. Figment had stopped meeting for the day by the time we left, but it was still super good.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Trying to
and
think-
then basically we did the Nemo stuff and then just kind of walked along World Showcase and ate some food until the fireworks happened.
What'd you guys think of Epcot Forever? Because you said Fantasmic was your favorite. I mean, which I think obviously Fantasmic better than Epcot Forever. But you guys haven't. I think people that like it, this is just my guess. People that like Epcot Forever are those folks who were down at Epcot in the 80s and 90s that have a kind of a nostalgic connection to the music.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good fireworks show. I mean, it doesn't like it's amazing compared to stuff that we see at home, but like when you look at Fantasmic and the way those tie in the movies versus Epcot, it just didn't have the same appeal to us. But we also watched it from our pool almost every other night that we were there. So
Nice. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the new show here. God, I can't believe
yeah,
it's a few months off, December.
so
So
exciting.
yeah, and I'll be here before we know it, man. It is getting quick. I can't believe that. Okay, so we gotta make sure we get listed. So day 4, you took a rest day.
We
So
did.
finally, you weren't the first people in the world wherever you were going. You guys use this for it looks like a little Disney Springs day, which that's what we always do on our rest day. And so highlights of this day.
Yeah, so obviously Disney Springs, Chicken Guy was a great restaurant if you're over in Disney Springs and you have chicken finger lovers. Wasn't just like basic chicken fingers. The sauces were great. It was really super fun. We had to go up to the rooftop bar and do the Coke flight. We're a Coke family over here.
Hey,
So we definitely had to go up and do that. We did the one in Epcot, but it just wasn't the same, like the full experience. So we wanted to sit down and do that. So we all just shared a flight. I have a video of my oldest taking like the remaining shot of the Beverly because he thought it would be hilarious. And it's the best video ever.
RIP to your kid.
Yeah, basically. Basically, he's like, "I think I can do it." I was like, "All right, let's do it." So I had to videotape it. So that's a pretty fun memory for us for sure.
Preview of college right there.
Yes. And then we went to Beaches and Cream for the kitchen sink. So we snagged that ADR at our 60 days. So we did that.
Oh,
Super
you
fun.
did the kitchen sink. Oh my
We
gosh.
did.
I haven't done one of those in 10 or 15 years. We've done a couple times. We've gone down with other families, friends that have traveled with us. Man, did you guys find the same that you got to get in quick? You got to get in quick before this stuff starts melting. Or by the end, it's just a mess.
It wasn't too bad, we just couldn't eat it all. Like,
Yeah, it's a lot.
we did the chocolate version just 'cause it's a bigger preference for our family, but it was still really good, but we just couldn't finish it. It
No,
was a lot of food.
if you finish it, Especially if you have dinner or something besides
Yeah.
that, you're self-abuse, man. That's not good. So
Yeah.
it looks like you, just did some Skyliner stuff, went over to Art of Animation, Pop Century, had dinner over at, I
We
guess, Landscape
did.
Quarters.
Because we had already had, food over at, Caribbean Beach the other day, like, the day before one of the other days, and we were just like, "You know what? Let's try something new," and we planned to go over to Art of Animation and Pop anyway. So, we just took the Skyliner over, checked them out, and we were like, "You know what? We'd probably stay here the next time we come, like, get 2 rooms, conjoined rooms or something like that." So, it gave us some ideas for our next trip.
Good to yeah, riding the Skyliner though on like Rust Day. That's fun. It's an
Yep.
attraction. And just getting to walk around and see those other yeah, I agree. And your family would love pop or art. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just different thematic, but I love
Yeah.
pop. I mean, I'm a huge pop fan. It's so fun.
Yeah.
And the last
And
thing, though, you said here real quick is it because it brings back so much nostalgia for me. We used to do the same thing. You had swimming and laundry. We used to do the same thing. Like because we go down and we used to go for a long time in the summer. So we just and my wife pretty much did it, but they have the laundry facilities right there at the pool. So
yep,
we'd throw some laundry in about 3 or 4 different machines, jump in the pool, swim, take them all out, throw them in the dryer, swim, take it back to the room. That's
that's exactly what we did.
mid trip. Yeah, it's exactly what we did. I mean, it's
Yeah.
great. You don't have to pack as much.
Yeah, well, we only brought 1 large checked bag and then carry-ons for our whole family, so it kinda gave us that opportunity to travel a little bit lighter and wash some clothes.
Yeah, makes sense. It's
Yeah,
longer trips, man. And people don't know, but like you can find the laundry facilities at the hotels usually right by the pool. I mean,
yep,
just look around. There's
exactly.
a building like at Pop Century, the 50s pool. There's a big building that looks like a shoe rack. That's the laundry machines. It's not a
Yeah,
shoe
it
rack.
was right at our, like, small, like, quiet pool by
Mhm.
our resort, like, by our hotel room, so it was super easy to do.
Yep, perfect. Okay, so next day, back to the parks, Animal Kingdom rope drop. Now you're splitting, dividing, and conquering, as we say in our family. After you guys go into Navi River Journey, and
Yeah.
some of you guys going to Flight of Passage. So how'd that go?
Yeah, it went pretty good. So the original plan was for just me and the big kids to kind of take off to Flight of Passage. We knew that would be kind of just as competitive as Rise of the Resistance was for us.
Mhm.
So, and our youngest was just not up for it. She's not tall enough. My husband was like, I don't want to ride it. So I was like, I'm going to take them. We're going to go. We're going to hustle. You take the stroller, hang out with her, just take it easy. So we went and did, Flight of Passage, pretty much just kinda walked the queue, walked on, waited a little bit longer for this one than we had any of the other stuff we rope dropped, but as we're waiting in line, my husband's texting me, he's like, "There's no line for Navi River Journey. I'm gonna tell Gwen we're going on it. We're gonna keep it a secret from you guys, so we're not gonna tell you. It's gonna be our little thing." So, they got to do that, we rode Flight of Passage, and then we met up and went to the safari.
So that worked out well, though. I mean, at least you got to kind of split up, knock out the two big things in Pandora right off the bat.
Yeah.
Head back to the safari before it gets too crazy crowded. Just give us so before lunch, you guys had lunch at Satuli, but the highlights from the kind of the morning before lunch. You guys did Everest as well, got some popcorn.
Yeah, definitely Flight of Passage was really cool, just, like, the kind of the smells and the just the way the ride is really interesting, and the safari, we're huge fans of, like, zoos and safaris and stuff, so for us, that was a really cool ride. We got to see a few of the animals kind of running through, and our driver's like, "They never run through here. This is kinda different and new." So, I'm not sure if they just say that and it
I'm
happens
like,
all the
you never
time.
know, right? I'm always like, you've said this to 7 cars today, right? I know. I'm
Yeah.
always like, are you serious or not? Because
Yes, but it was kinda cool to see them all kind of together. They gave us some really interesting background information on the animals, so that was a really interesting thing. So if you have an animal lover, it's definitely a ride to check out.
so you guys were let me ask you this, kind of take a break from all the stuff you
Yeah,
guys did. You guys were using Genie Plus throughout the trip.
we were, yeah.
Overall, I mean, did you feel like you got a good value out of it? Because it looks like you guys got a lot done. I mean, just
We
looking at your
did.
overall agenda.
So, our original plan was to go in and just do it for our Hollywood Studios day and our 2 Magic Kingdom days, because the cost of it for 5 people is just a lot.
Yeah.
So but after our first day at Hollywood Studios where we got so much done with it, we looked at each other and we're like, "All right, let's cancel a sit down meal later on in the trip to do it every day," was kind of our decision. We canceled Tusker House, so we were going to do Tusker House at Animal Kingdom, but we were like, you know what? Not waiting in line for the entire trip. We'll take that.
I love that idea though, that you didn't have to take on additional costs. You just kind of redistributed your vacation funds and said, "This
Exactly.
is gonna give us a higher value. We'll be fine eating somewhere else and having a different." That that's super smart. I love that. That's my kind of philosophy, but I never think of it that way. That's a great tip. How was it though, like, getting it in the morning, the process? Was it painless and stuff like that,
Yeah,
getting it rolling?
it was pretty good. I mean, I did do a lot of research and watch some videos on how to get those coveted
Mhm.
lightning lanes, and the days where we did like Tron, where we did the individual lightning lane for it. I did it on one phone. My husband did just like the normal Genie Plus on his phone. So there was a little bit of strategy there, and I looked up what the best ones to do in the right order. So a bit of research goes a long way, but it was pretty painless, pretty easy. We would scan in, everyone would get the green light, and we would just book our next one.
Good stuff. That's how you use it. It's glad to hear because people are always curious about, like, okay, well, we read about it, but how is it in practice? And
Yeah.
that's good for folks to hear because a lot of folks will hear this, and that
I
is
don't know in like a super busy time of year, like the holidays or
Mhm.
in like February, March, where you're seeing like spring break crowds and things like that, if you would get the same value. But we got to write everything with like a 5-minute wait, not even.
Oh
So
man, good stuff.
so we can't complain.
When it's hot, that's even
Yeah,
better. 'Cause
exactly.
it's been good,
Exactly.
way better. Okay, so the rest of this day, it looks like you had a little drama on the back end of this day between some weather and maybe a little health scare, a little, maybe too much excitement for Gwen. I don't know. So how this day kind of started having a little more excitement than probably you planned for.
Yeah, well, I mean, so it sounds a little dramatic with her passing out, but more so she just fell asleep because
Oh,
we
she's also okay, good. I was like, because
yeah.
sometimes, man, this one time I passed out in Magic Kingdom. I'm just saying, like, I got too hot.
No, we so every other day we took a rest and she fell asleep either on the way back to the hotel or she fell asleep in the hotel once we got there. So this day we didn't do that because we knew it was going to be a shorter day for us. So we rode Dinosaur as a family and then headed over to Finding Nemo for that like coveted AC break for a little bit.
Yeah,
She curled up on my lap and she was asleep before the show even started. So
nothing wrong with that.
no. So we let her sleep. We kinda walked over to see Mickey and Minnie and woke her up for that and met them in their safari outfits, which was super fun. Got some great photos there. And it had been, like, a sunny day, like, no clouds, nothing, and then all of a sudden, we're walking out of Mickey and Minnie, and it's torrential downpour, like, there's just, like, puddles, like lakes in the middle of Animal Kingdom. And me and my husband look at each other, we're like, "We're going back to the hotel, let's just go. Like, there's no point in trying to wait this out, like, let's just go." So, we threw Gwen in the stroller, threw the stroller cover over it, and then all of us just walked and got soaked because there wasn't a point in trying to do anything else. And then we just went back to the resort and hung out and had dinner at Caribbean Beach and just had a nice, easy night.
You know what? Sometimes, and no kidding, those kind of end up being like the best nights when you have like a night that you just like, "I'm just gonna go back to the resort and just chill out, watch a movie."
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll like watch our hometown baseball team play a game in the summer and just like, because you're already drenched and like you get back to the hotel like it's 7 o'clock. It was going to be a night you were going to stay out late to the Magic Kingdom, but you're drenched. You're just like, we're going back. It's going to rain the rest of the night. You grab something at the food court. Like, for some reason, those are like good nights because you're just chilling as a family. You're having a good time. It's
Yeah,
relaxed.
exactly,
You
and
gotta make
it was the only day it rained while we were there, so can't complain.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that's good stuff. All right, so we have one last day at the Magic Kingdom, it looks like, before
Yeah.
your checkout day. So how do you go about this? Go, hit stuff you missed. Man, you got a lot done, though. Is it mostly stuff you missed or, stuff you really enjoyed the first time? It started off, though, going over to Polly breakfast at Ohana. God, I love that one.
Yeah, so it was kind of a little bit of both options. We planned to split the park of Magic Kingdom in 2 because we knew we were gonna do 2 days there, so we had planned to, like, leave specific things off for the 2nd day. But we also knew that we were going for Ohana that day for breakfast because it's just easy from the
Right.
Polynesian going back over to Magic Kingdom. So like I said earlier, meeting Stitch was on my list of things. So that was at the time when we booked the trip was the only way to actually physically meet Stitch. So it's always been on my list to do. So we kept that reservation, went and did that, had a great time, fantastic character interactions, great meal, fantastic service. Everything was great there. Headed back on the monorail back to Magic Kingdom and went and rode the Magic Carpet rides because they were like a 5-minute wait, and we had a bit of time before our first lightning lane of the day. So grabbed some Dole Whip and just hung out and headed over to Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, that looks like you guys did Jungle Cruise, Lightning Lane, Big Thunder, Pirates. Did the Carousel, PhilharMagic. I mean, you guys were rocking. The guy did Cheshire Cattail. Oh, those are
Yep,
so good. You
they
guys
are.
were killing it. And then you had Haunted Mansion with a Lightning Lane, Turkey
Yep.
Leg. I mean, you guys were rocking it. Festival of Fantasy Parade was hitting at that time. And you're like, we've already done so much. You guys are probably tired. I mean, you'd had a big breakfast. You guys did all these great attractions with Genie Plus. Went back to the resort and just, I guess, took a little midday break there.
Yeah, we weren't going to originally. That wasn't in the plan, but we got all that done in the morning. And we were like, you know what, if we want to stay for fireworks tonight, because we wanted to finish off the trip with fireworks at the end at Magic Kingdom. So we were like, let's go back to the resort, take a beat, take a minute, and then head back for fireworks later on.
Yeah, it makes sense. Now, when you guys go back to the resort to take your breaks throughout the trip, were you were the kids swimming, or were you taking naps, or kind of both, or
We were pretty much just hanging out in the AC.
that's good. That's what I do. I mean, the girls used to always swim, and I'd be like, "You guys can swim all you want. I'm taking a nap, like in the air
Yeah,
conditioning."
I
Like,
don't say it in here, but pretty much every night after we got back from the parks, no matter what time it was a 15-20 minute swim for the kids. So it was every night, no matter what time it was, they were going in that pool. So we didn't see the need to do it during the day and stay out in the sun. We
Smart.
just kind of sat in the AC with the lights off, and a couple of us took showers various days because we just needed that cool
Yeah,
off and then
yeah.
go back out.
That night swim, that's the Scotty G method. He swims every time he gets back from the parks. He jumps in
Yep.
that pool. I'm like, that dude loves night swimming. I mean, I'm not
It's
against it,
pretty
but I'm just
great.
so tired. I'm just always like, dude, I just want to go to bed.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
depending on the resort, like we watched the fireworks from the main pool one night, from our like quiet pool one night. It was pretty great.
That is awesome. So then, oh, I love this. So what a great last night at the Magic Kingdom, though, because you're going for the fireworks, but dinner. And I know people are going to be like, Mike, this is not a good last dinner in the Magic Kingdom. This is the best last dinner. Casey's hot dogs. I mean, I'd have probably got corn dog nuggets, but it doesn't matter. I've done this for my last meal in the Magic Kingdom so many times. I mean, it's just to me, it's Main Street USA, it's Magic Kingdom. It's Americana. I know you guys are
Yeah.
Canadians, but I mean, you
No, it
celebrate
is.
Americana.
Yeah, I mean, my husband loves a good like, classic meal. So we were right in the hub, like right down right by the castle watching fireworks. We staked out a spot. So then I went and grabbed dinner. So I just grabbed a whole bunch of hot dogs and some fries, and we just sat on the curb and ate dinner and waited for the fireworks.
That's awesome, man. I love that because that's exactly my style. Like, I don't need California Grill. I know everybody else loves it. Give me some Casey's. That's
Yeah.
good stuff. And so fireworks, you guys got to see Happily Ever After. Was that
Oh, it was
at
phenomenal.
the end of the trip? I'm sure it's kind of emotional, right?
Oh yeah, it absolutely was. It was just incredible just to be like we're standing here in Magic Kingdom watching these fireworks after so much time.
Yep, because you guys have waited forever to kind of make this happen, and now it's
Yeah.
like you've had all these built all these memories. The kids are going to talk about it forever. You got to pull it off with the family.
Yeah.
Kind of coming to an end. So your last day, the next day is checkout day. You guys did some laundry, packed up, went over to again Caribbean Beach. People forget, but you can go over to the Riviera, take advantage of their dining and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Primo Piatto for lunch.
Yeah.
Nice. And then it says Caribbean Beach lobby hangs. You just mean you hung out in the lobby? Or?
Yeah, so we again had a late flight. So I think our flight took off from Orlando at like 7 o'clock at night. So we didn't get picked up until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we had tons of time to just kill. Went over to the Riviera, took our time, kind of walked back, did a few different things, but then we just hung out in the lobby because there was movies playing, there was ping pong outside, there's just a whole bunch of little things to do that people don't mention. So we did that, but the highlight of my trip, probably of the trip for me, was we were hanging out in the lobby just as a family hanging out. My older kids are super athletic and physical, and they're jumping from like one floor tile to the next, and then they're adding a floor tile each time. So they jump to one, then jump to two, then jump to three, as kids do. They're just playing together. But then Dale walks up behind them, the character, and just stretches and joins them. Like, they
Oh,
didn't say
no.
anything to him, nothing. He just joined them. So I have an amazing video of them playing with Dale doing this game.
I love that because that's the kind of spontaneity that you see like in a commercial, right?
Yeah.
It's the interaction that you want to happen, but it just doesn't
You
usually.
can't ask for it.
No, and it usually doesn't happen. I mean, because it can't happen at scale. But if a character sees that opportunity, it's great when they seize upon that. That is good.
Yeah.
What a memory. That is great. Because that's actually usually my last question. It's like one big memory or something. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this, kind of just wrap it up. And what a great trip to talk. This is a great way to start the week. I mean, it's got me smiling. It's got me feeling all the feels because I love when these trips come together. Families get to make memories. You'll be talking about this for a long time, but this wasn't like a trip that you guys have gone for 15 times. It was your 17th trip. A lot of folks that we have on the show, they get to go quite often. What tip would you give somebody who is going down for the first, second, third time with a family that maybe you learned, because you guys use Genie Plus, everything you did seems like it went off pretty well. So what advice would you give to somebody kind of in your shoes that would help them plan a vacation that's going down with their family, maybe for the first, second, or third time?
Do some research, like whether it's listening to podcasts like this or reading blogs or just kind of familiarizing yourself with the layout of the park. Just kind of research what's there and figure out what you actually want to do and get done. Like, we didn't do everything. There are attractions we missed, things that we didn't do. But we did the things that we really wanted to do that meant something to our family. So figure out what those main pieces are and then do some research around them and decide what your budget is and figure out how you can make those things happen. Like, Genie Plus was a huge game changer for us. So I would recommend definitely looking into that and figure out how to fit that into a budget too.
All right. Well, Karyn, thank you again for coming on and starting the week with us, man. What a way to get a virtual vacation to Walt Disney World here in our ears, and tons of practical advice that are going to help our listeners plan better vacations here as we wrap up 2023 and move into 2024. So, happy fall season up there in Canada. And again, thanks for taking the time to share with us here on the podcast.
Thanks so much, Mike. Thanks for having me.
All right. Don't forget, our show is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out this week for all your Disney trip planning needs. They're over at themagicforless.com. We'd love to help you plan that next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, and Adventures by Disney Vacation. We offer our services for no additional cost to you, and many times you're going to get little booking bonuses like Disney gift cards and amazing onboard credits with Disney Cruise Line. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And I know they have those Amazon Prime Days coming up. I think it's October 10th and 11th. If you're taking advantage of those, you can also use our link. So please do that. beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so much to our patrons. You guys keep us on the air. You allow us to do more than one show a week. We do 3, 4, 5 shows a week some weeks. And it's because of your support. Our patrons also get that bonus show. It's called Mike in the Midwest. So come on over and join us. We'd love to have you starting at just $5 a month. Be our guests. Oh no, patreon.com/be our guest podcast. Yes, I'm a mess this week. I'm sorry. It's going to get better. Don't forget, you can also follow me on the social media at Be Our Guest Mike on Twitter /X, also on Instagram and Threads. And we will have a live call-in show this Sunday night. So join us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. I'll be live taking your calls. Scotty G will be on his way to Hawaii. So I'll need your calls. We'll have a good time talking Disney. We can talk about any topic you want. Mini trip reports. Let's just talk Disney Sunday night, 7 o'clock Central, Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Be there. Let's talk Disney. I need to close this mic. We had a good show until I started doing the outro. This is a mess. So we're going to get out of here. And I promise on Wednesday, I'm going to have my stuff together. But until then, we're going to jump out of here. So for Karyn up in Canada, I'm Mike here in Missouri. You guys have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. got distracted by the TV. And the sad thing is, I just have like on Pluto TV, it's like an old show of the Match Game from like the 70s. It's dumb. I don't even have football or anything because it's like on, I don't even know the channel number.
Oh boy.
Anyway, I think what a great show. That's an awesome one because it's got so many good tips, and it was just fun to just. I was like riding right along with your family, like, oh,
Yeah.
here we go. So such good stuff. Well, thank you
Thanks
so
so
much,
much, Mike.
Tell the family I appreciate the hour that I got to steal you there because I know it's probably busy in your house and right in the middle of the week. I know it's nuts. It's crazy around here. Mallory's
It's all
here.
good.
But thank you. And if you ever need anything, just give me a yell. And you guys have a great fall up there.
You too. Thanks,
All
Mike.
right.
Take care.
Nice to meet you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.